الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. My name is Abdullah Lakay, and I am serving as the Imam at the Tulbagh South Mosque in Manenberg. Inshallah, my presentation will be for about 3 to 4 minutes. Then there's a video clip which will take about another 5 minutes. I'd like you to see. Because some of the information that I'm going to share with you now, it's also on the video clip, as well as additional information that might be of great benefit to you, inshallah. My discussion on the topic that I was given was BDS. Now, can anyone tell me perhaps in the room here what does BDS stand for? Anyone perhaps?
Boycott.
BDS.
Boycott, divest.
Boycott, divestment,
Sanctions.
That is what is meant by BDS. Now, just to give you a brief overview of BDS, boycott, divestment, sanctions. It's a Palestinian-led movement for freedom, justice, and equality. Now, one of the main principles of BDS that it upholds is that it strives for the rights of the Palestinian population. And the BDS issue was inspired by the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa. Actually, as all are aware that during the apartheid era in South Africa, one of the tactics used against the apartheid regime in South Africa was through sanctions, and that actually crippled the apartheid regime. So BDS was actually inspired by what transpired here in South Africa. Now, as well with the build-up, I just give you like the scene, the build-up towards the establishment of BDS for more than 70 years. For more than 70 years approximately, Israel has denied the Palestinians their fundamental rights. Now, you might ask the question, like, who gives you the right to do this? Where do you get all this support from? The main reason why Israel is doing currently what it's doing in Palestine is because the national or the governments they are not doing anything to stop or prevent Israel from what it is currently doing. We find many organizations, many countries are actually behind Israel. They're not stopping them from what they are currently doing. So this actually encouraged some brothers in Palestine to come up with this initiative to actually start boycotting Israel. And alhamdulillah, you will see now in the video that this BDS has, alhamdulillah, achieved quite significant results due to the boycotting of Israeli, what do you call this, businesses, Israeli, what do you call this, financial institutes as well. In actual fact, many of the organizations that supports BDS are also universities, churches, in many more organizations that actually is behind the BDS. But you will see now, inshallah, in the video clip, some of the success rates that BDS has achieved over the past few years, inshallah.
Was a planned ethnic cleansing of 750,000 Palestinians. And this colonial logic of conquest, destruction, and expulsion has continued to the present day. Today, about a third of the Palestinian people live under a brutal military occupation in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and Gaza. Israel has stolen land, built Jewish-only settlements, expelled Palestinians, and cornered others into ghettos, surrounded by walls, military watchtowers, and checkpoints. 12% of the Palestinian people live inside Israel as third-class citizens. They are subjected to a system of racial discrimination and racist laws that amounts to apartheid, as defined by the United Nations. Half of the Palestinian people continue to live outside Palestine as refugees, denied their right to return to their homes. In 2014, Israel carried out one of its bloodiest ever massacres of Palestinians in the besieged Gaza Strip. More than 2,000 people were killed, a quarter of them children. Israel is only able to maintain its regime of oppression because of the support of international governments and corporations. When those in power refuse to act to stop this injustice, we need a global citizens' response to stand alongside Palestinians in their struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. In 2005, Palestinian civil society came together to issue its call for boycott, divestment, and sanctions. The appeal calls for concerted nonviolent action to isolate Israel, as was done to apartheid South Africa. We are calling for boycott pressure on Israel until it complies with international law in the following ways: end its occupation and colonization of land seized in 1967, recognize the right of the Palestinian citizens of Israel to full equality, respect the right of Palestinian refugees to return to their homes. The BDS movement has empowered people across the world to take effective action against Israel. Trade unions, student groups, churches, academics, cultural figures, and social movements are joining together to make an impact. Already, because of BDS, Israeli export companies are complaining that it is getting harder to export their products, and grassroots action has prevented Israeli ships from docking at ports around the world. Major Israeli exporter SodaStream, targeted by our campaign, has announced plans to close a factory it operates in an illegal Israeli settlement. G4S and Veolia, two huge corporations that help Israel maintain its occupation, have lost billions of dollars worth of contracts as a result of BDS activism. Both companies are now talking about ending their role in Israel's crimes. Some European governments are now taking action against aspects of Israel's occupation, and several US academic associations have endorsed a comprehensive academic boycott of Israeli universities. And many prominent musicians and artists support the cultural boycott of Israel, refusing to perform there. Israeli business leaders and politicians are warning that the boycott is starting to isolate Israel. In fact, the government is so worried about the strategic threat that BDS poses to their regime of oppression that it's using its enormous resources to undermine the movement. There's a real fear within Israel that it is fast becoming the pariah state that South Africa once was.